What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today I'll be going over 3 quick tips on how to make your videos look better visually and what those tips are. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So got them all written down. Let me go back to my notes. So tip number 1, and you probably have heard it a lot, is to nail your settings in camera before you even shoot. And this goes for, let's say you're changing locations, and it is so important to make sure your settings are nailed, because you could be shooting one spot where it's very cloudy, and you're gonna have a different Kelvin rating. You're probably shooting like in a definitely warmer Kelvin if you're under that overcast area, or if it's in the shade, definitely going to be boosting that Kelvin to make it warmer. And then when you go back out into the sun, it's going to be, it's going to look way too warm or cool, wherever you are. And you want to make sure your ISO is not too high, that you're having clean, crisp images. So always make sure wherever you're shooting, if you're going back and forth, or even if you're in a sit down location where you're doing like a talking headshot, making sure you're nailing your settings in camera, so that way you can bring the footage right into the edit and you won't have to worry as much about the highlights and shadows. Did I get my exposure right? Were my shadows too black? And that way you have much more peace of mind in the edit, and don't have to spend so much time trying to fix this image because you didn't take the time to expose the highlights, and the highlights are all blown out. So keep that in mind when you're on the shoot, when you're on set, that you're always mindful of, is the camera, is this how I want it? If I could take the footage right now, if I didn't have time, I had to take footage right now, slap a quick LUT on it, is it good enough to send off to the client? That's what I always think about. That's what I tell myself, is it good enough? So make sure you're always spending time to nail your settings in your camera first before shooting. Before pressing record, all your settings are good. So tip number 1. So going along with that, tip number 2 is knowing when to shoot during the time of the day. Different times of the day produces different Kelvin ratings. The sun is warmer in the morning, really bright during the midday, and then warmer in the evening. And knowing when to shoot during the times of the day, you usually want to try to shoot morning or evening. That's the best, because the light is low on the horizon, it's softer, and you're gonna get really good edge of light, so you get some nice silhouette shots. And it just looks better that way. So that first piece of advice is shoot either sunrise, sunset. That's pretty much all you need to know. But anyway, it's so important to understand when you're planning a shoot, when you want this shot. Certain shots, you want to portray some sort of emotion, and so different times of the day will portray different sort of emotion. Let's say you want a character that is feeling. You want a more dreamy feel to your video. You're probably gonna be shooting at the last part of the evening, the last part of the sunset, when that sunlight is really soft, really glowy, super warm, and you want to just portray that sense of dreaminess, that sense of just of awe. And that's really when you want to shoot, because the sun is really warm, really low on the horizon. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Sky's all lit up. It's the best. That's my favorite time to shoot. If you want something more intense, you're probably going to be shooting when the sun's a little bit higher, where it's a lot brighter, and you have some more harder shadows, and that's usually when if you want to film something more intense. I know I have seen some of these war movies where they're not some of these movies are filmed, it's filmed in the afternoon. You can tell because you have that shadow that's coming in at a 45. You still get that long shadow, and still it's not as an intense light, but it does portray more of a harsher light, a hotter light, and you definitely can see that in those movies. Anyway, so tip number I keep doing this. All right, so tip number 3 is when you bring your footage into the editing software, is to color correct it first. So I've always done this in the past, is you bring your footage I bring mine into Premiere Pro, I'll drop a LUT on it. Oh, that looks so cool. It's color graded, it has all this cool stuff. But what a lot of professionals do, and I've started to do myself, is bringing in your footage, color correcting it first. So you're getting skin tones right, you're getting everything to look like what it would look like if I was looking at the camera. Right now I see the red of the camera, I see the blue of this table, is to make everything look right, or correct. What is it supposed to look like? And that's going to help you a lot when you come to color grading, because then at that point all your colors are what they're supposed to be. Red is red, yellow is yellow, and then you could start grading it and creating your own interpretation of what those colors you want those colors to change, or what kind of feel you want to have. Like the Matrix is very green, has that kind of almost eerie feel, and Mad Max has a much more orange, deserty, hot feeling. And at that point, with color grading, you are creating your own style. And so, but first, color correction comes first, because that makes your video look right. Skin tones are not green. They're, depending on what the skin tone is, it has its own color. And so color correction is very key to making your videos look right and professional. So, but anyway, those are 3 tips from me, and those really helped me a lot in improving my skill as a filmmaker. Hope you found those informational. So please subscribe so I can do more videos like this and just teach what I've learned. So thanks all for watching. I'll catch you next time.